One of the patterns that I see with men that lose the edge is that they become nice guys. And at the end, you know what they say? Nice guys finish last. I actually want you to watch this video with me. The psychologist is breaking down why nice men actually are turning off women. And I'm going to give you my insight of how nice men are sabotaging their business. Let's begin.
Women do not hate nice men. That's just not true. But what we do dislike is men who lack masculinity. Now, a lot of nice guys tend to be men who also lack other masculine traits that women find attractive. And what they do is they blame their nice nature as to why they have no success with women, when really it has nothing to do with their niceness, but everything to do with their lack of masculinity. And it's quicker and easier to blame it on your nice nature. But really, if you take a man who is super, super nice, but he's still masculine, he's still risk-taking, he's still a leader, he still has boundaries. When you take a man who still has masculine traits and is nice, he ends up having hyper success with women. But when you take a man who's nice by default because he can't exercise his masculinity, he can't say no, he can't set boundaries, he can't exert his dominance, of course women are not going to find that attractive. And it's just quicker and easier for a guy to say women hate nice guys. But if you replace that with women hate femininity, women hate people pleasers.
I'm glad that she cleared it out, because at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you have to be an asshole to connect with women. You have to be an asshole to lead a company. What it means is, can you tap into your masculinity, meaning your certainty, your confidence, speaking your truth? Because the reality is that most nice men, the reason that they're nice because they don't have the certainty to have confrontations. They don't have assertive. They don't know who they are. A good book for you to read to help you understand this is the book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. It talks about how being nice is more of a manipulation tactic that men use to get what they want. Because at the end, if you're nice, you try to please everyone because you want something from them. A man who's masculine, a man who's certain of himself, he doesn't need things from anybody. He's not attached to a certain outcome. That's why he has that confidence, because whether they work for him or they are with him, it doesn't matter. That's why a lot of men who are chasing women or chasing a deal or chasing sales, they end up just doing that, chasing. But a man that's attractive, he attracts women, he attracts business, he attracts people to work for him. Why? Because he knows who he is and he has that certainty of where he's going.
And the reality is women, and I think it's men as well, I think nice women finish last as well. Nice girls get treated terribly compared to difficult women. If you look at their overall investment that they receive from a man, they get treated terribly in comparison, because there's something about people pleasers that turns us off. It turns men and women off. Because what happens when you're being nice is, the difference between being nice and being a good guy is the nice guy desexualizes himself. And how he desexualizes himself is by foregoing what he truly wants for the sake of peace and harmony. So what he will do is, a nice guy might feel uncomfortable with the situation, might not like something that's going on, might be uncomfortable, might feel distaste, whatever it is. But because he doesn't want confrontation, he will sacrifice truth in order to gain harmony. But what the reality is, women are attracted to somebody who is able to tell the truth.
So I'll have a confession, okay? So when I was building my business, I was so focused on building my business. I was so focused on working probably 80 hours a week that when I used to come home, I was a pleaser. My wife wanted to fight, or my wife wanted to have an argument. All I had to do is say, you know what, whatever you want, honey. I don't have the energy to argue. I don't have the bandwidth, because I've been slaying dragons all day. I don't have the bandwidth. So then we ended up not being attracted to each other. Why? Because there was no polarity. I was a pleaser at home because all my energy was spent in my business. So that's one of the patterns that I see with nice guys, is that there could be badasses in their business, there could be badasses in the boardroom, but then when it comes to relationships, they become pleasers. Why? Because they don't have the bandwidth. So once I understood that was a turn-off for my wife, and what she wanted was the same intensity that as I'm running my business, the same intensity to come home with, that's what she wanted. That's the reason that most men become pleasers, because they don't have the bandwidth to stand arguments. They want to keep the peace instead of owning their truth. The truth is that I wanted to have sex. The truth is that I wanted to connect. The truth is I just didn't want to argue. But at the end of the day, when she was at home with the kids, there was also energy that was being built there that had to go somewhere. And that was the only outlet. I didn't have the capacity to withhold that energy, so therefore I became a pleaser. But once I understood that concept, another great book that will help you understand is The Way of the Superior Man. The Way of the Superior Man helped me understand that the difference between masculinity and femininity and how to use them, because we all have them both. Men and women have masculine traits and feminine traits. We all have both sides. But where do you live in your core makes all the difference.
We're attracted to confrontation. We're attracted to risk takers. We're attracted to that because it signals that they can lead us. Now, if a woman feels like she's with a guy who's a people pleaser and will just want to keep the peace, every time she has an attitude or she has a problem at work or she has anything like that, I can't call a guy who's a people pleaser and ask him for advice. I just can't. If I think, oh God, I look terrible in this, but then I call a friend of mine who's a complete people pleaser, I'm going to get nothing out of that conversation. He's just going to tell me what I want to hear. And I might feel soothed for 2 minutes, but I don't actually go to him for honesty and leadership. Whereas when you have a man who's very nice, who's very good to you, but he's also honest and he's also sincere, he'll say to you, oh, that looks terrible. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, don't handle that. And even though it might be hard to hear, you start to trust their opinion. You start to recognize they're not a people pleaser. You recognize their masculinity. You recognize that this is attractive, and you recognize that truth means something to this person. And we're always attracted to people who attach to the truth, not people who attract to peace. Because in order to establish true peace, you have to fight for truth, right? So those people who just want short-term kind of peace will just not say what they truly want, just to kind of, put out fires. But the person who wants to establish a good connection will fight for peace in the early stages.
So a part of being a leader is you being able to confront people when they're not living up to your standards. I was coaching one of my clients at a big company, and he hired me to help him bring the edge culture into the company. And we had to do a lot of cleanup. At the end, he had to let go of a lot of people from his company. Why? Because they were not willing to raise their standards. Because he was a people pleaser. He was trying to keep the peace. And at the end, he hated the business and it was losing money. Why? Because he allowed people to walk all over him. But the moment that he said, no, from this moment forward, we're going to have this standard, then he knew who were in his side and who wanted to leave. But it wasn't easy. But see, people want to be led by somebody who understands their truth. People want to be led by somebody who has certainty. At the beginning, it's going to be hard for you to establish that culture, especially if you've been a pleaser for a long time in your business, especially when you've been a pushover for a lot of people. And sometimes when we have a big business and we're making money, we just don't want to rock the boat. And eventually we become pleasers and we become the nice boss, the nice CEO. And that's when you start seeing your revenue diminish. People start respecting you and you're no longer driving them, so they cannot count on you. They cannot pick up the phone and call you because they know that you checked out. That's what we call men who are drifting through life. You're making money, but you're not growing. You're making money, but your business is not expanding. Why? Because you're comfortable. The moment that you get out of your comfort zone and you stop being the nice guy, then you start being a leader. And people respect leaders who are taking risks, that are speaking their truth, and most important, that are willing to have the tough conversations.
So how we know why nice guys desexualize themselves is because they don't tell the truth about their intentions. They might be really attracted to you. They might really want to be with you. But what they'll do is pretend that's not the case. They pretend, they don't show you their truth. So why we get desexualized towards nice guys is because they don't tell you their truth about their intentions. They want to be respectful. They'll always say, I'm just trying to be respectful. I'm just trying to be respectful. The truth is you have a fear of rejection. So what a nice guy will do is pretend he's being respectful when really he's afraid of rejection. And if he simply risked it and took the bait and perhaps risked rejection, he is then more likely to be attractive than the guy who simply pretends he doesn't have those intentions at all and masks his intentions. So tell the truth about your intentions. If you like a girl and you want to be with that girl, make that clear. I have friends in my life that I almost can't friend zone, and I can't put them in the friend zone because they will remind me that they're physically attracted to me. They'll always remind me. As much as I don't like that, at least I know the truth.
This is what I call being treated like a hurry girlfriend. If you're married, if you become a nice guy, if you become a pleaser, your wife will start treating you as a hairy girlfriend because there's no more polarity. There's no more attraction. You need the masculinity and the femininity for you to be attracted. So the moment that you become a pleaser, you're no longer attracted to her. And she might have sex with you, but it's not going to be passionate sex. It's not going to be the type of sex that you used to have before. I know because my wife was treating me as a hairy girlfriend for a while, and I realized that I had to stop that pattern because it wasn't working for us. Again, this is my 25 years being married. We've gone through ups and downs. I've been the nice guy. I went into that zone, but I realized that if I could use the same drive that I had in my business, in my marriage, I will have the same excitement. Same thing, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. Because eventually, if you're becoming a nice guy in your marriage, it's going to affect your business. And if you become a nice guy in your business, it's going to affect your marriage. Both things combine and they actually interconnect. So my intention for you after watching this video is to stop being a nice guy. To know that nice guys never finish first. That at the end of the day, nice guys just means that you're being a manipulator. You want to manipulate people because you're afraid of confrontation. You're afraid of rejection. It's time for you to be a leader. It's time for you to find your balls and find that certainty. And even though people may not agree with you, people may not even like you, but it's okay. Give yourself the permission to be a leader. Give yourself the permission to be a man. That's how you sharpen your edge. By having confrontation, by having the difficult conversations, by having people maybe not liking you, because that's the way that you know who you are. Most men don't know who they are. That's why they try to be nice, because they try to be everything for everyone and end up losing themselves. I believe that if you're a man, it's your job to lead your family, to lead your people, to lead your business, to stop hiding and trying to be nice and give yourself the permission to lead with power, because the best is yet to come. If you like this video, make sure you check out this other video right here when I talk about why high-level men should be married so they could grow and expand their empire. Take a look at this video now.